Hello guys, this is Whitney. Welcome back to my channel. And today we've got some spring and Easter home decor. I've got two wreaths and a floral arrangement. And I kind of don't think they all match. I mean, two of them go together. This one right here, this girl, she's pretty, but it was just an experiment. I was messing around with some nautical rope and a pretty thing happened. So I left it in the video, but let's just get started. This just doesn't really make sense this time, but let's just do this. I have Dollar Tree styrofoam wreath here. I got that a while ago, but they still sell them now. You guys know those. If you're a Dollar Tree follower, then yeah, you know they have those. This was the closest paint I could find to match that white nautical ropes, and it's an apple barrel sandstone. Apple barrel acrylic paint in the color sandstone, because white paint made the nautical rope look dirty. It didn't look pretty. So I grabbed this paint, and I was actually pretty surprised at how well it covered the green. And then I'm thinking, well, I think the green is peeking through. So I ended up putting 3 coats of paint on this girl here. Of course, I'm not going to have you guys watch me painfully paint that for 3 coats worth and dry, and then paint and dry and paint and dry until your eyes cross. But that was the end result. There's the finished product. And then I had to go get a wreath. Okay. Yes, Whitney. It is no longer green. I had to show because I literally, my eyes started playing tricks on me. So here you go. There's the original. So I took the nautical rope that you get from Dollar Tree. This is the white stuff or the cream colored rope. It's an 11-foot bundle. Now all their bundles come in different sizes. So pay attention to the top of that little tag on that rope there, because sometimes you get 9 feet, sometimes you get 8 feet, 6 feet. I had 3 bundles of 11 feet. And I was being very greedy here, so I only unraveled 1 bundle. When you unravel them, you get 3 strands. So I said, let me just wrap this wreath and see what happens. Now, common problem with something circular is that you have to overlap or it starts to go crooked. I only put 2 of the strands of the 3 on the bottom, and I didn't want to unravel because the whole wreath started to look, as you can see there on the bottom one side, started to look a little icky. So I went to my stash and I got some jute twine here that I got at Lowe's many moons ago. But guys, pick some jute twine and insert here. You can find it anywhere, and any gauge is fine. This one's not too tiny. I know the Dollar Tree sells jute twine. Now that is really thin twine, so that would really drive you crazy. But if you have it, by all means, just find some twine. I was keeping with the theme of like natural, rustic. Of course, we're still going to put farmhouse in there because I am obsessed for life. So I'm also, again, not going to have you watch me painfully wrap this, but I'm just trying to save more nautical rope. Now, yes, you can see that I have 2 more bundles sitting there, but again, I'm being greedy because you guys, pumpkins are always on my mind, and I believe that I need pumpkin help, but I don't really want to have help as far as giving up pumpkins, but I am saving this nautical rope for pumpkin season because I have so many pumpkins to wrap with it. So I'm being pumpkin greedy in March. Or no, sorry, we're beginning of April. I'm being pumpkin greedy in April. Okay, I can't help it. It's a sickness, but I love it. So here I'm making it even on both sides. So I got my ruler out to measure right straight across. So you can see here, I want to make sure I'm getting the knot or this jute twine at least somewhat even. And again, depending on how you hang the wreath, it's always in the artist's mind, or beauty's in the eye of the beholder. It's however the recipient sees their project. So if I choose to put my bow at the top or the bottom, might be a different place than what you think your top or bottom is. In my instance, this was going to be each side, and I had planned on making the white part that I'm holding the top, and I ended up swapping it over and putting my bow up there to hide some of that little mess there. But basically, I took the leftover twine I had unraveled, as well as that last third bundle. Sorry, 1 bundle turns into 3 strands. So I took the last of the 3rd strand, and I tried to make it even on each side. So as I'm gluing, I'm just kind of watching how much I have left, because there isn't really a way to properly measure this, you guys. Again, as you're twisting and you're turning, you can see I have to overlap in some spots, and these nautical rope strands end up getting a little bulky when you do that, and it wasn't coming out as neatly as I wanted it to. So that's where the twine came in. The jute twine helped me to at least make a little bit of a mess, but in a nice way. So it's a nice mess because the twine, the jute has that rugged, outdoorsy, weathered, vintage look that I love on things, but all I did was just fill in my empty spots. So I tried to make it as even as I could, and you can see the two sides, one's thicker than the other, but I like it. Remember, imperfection is beautiful in my eyes. So if you're a very structured person and you like this, then you're going to need to do a little bit more measuring, because Whitney does not like to measure. I asked her personally. Trust me, I know her. So I took what was left of the last strand of that nautical rope, and I just made a little hanger for it. So I kind of just looped it over on itself, and then I tied a knot, and then I frayed the ends of it. Just kind of got it a little fuzzy there because it was coming undone anyways. And so that's how I made the wreath. Now from here, I gotta move it over to make it a little bit more even. You'll see me do that. There you go. And so from here, we're gonna go bow crazy, and that's it. So this bow's right. I got some. Let's go. Of course, I had to do that so fast that I couldn't even say it. First, we're gonna make no tails. At first I thought no tails on anything. So this is just some 6-inch wide burlap. I've had this from Michael's. I got it. You can get it at burlapfabric.com. You can get it at Michael's. You can get it anywhere. But this is just 6-inch wide burlap ribbon or garland or what have you. So I cut a loop big enough, pinched it in the middle, and said, okay, that's a pretty bow. Now this right here is craftoutlet.com 50-yard spool. You can see there I write the prices on all my spools. But what I needed to go with is this right here. I got this at Hobby Lobby a few years ago, and it is a chicken wire that is covered in some sort of like spongy foam, you can see here, but it looks like moss, and I love every second of it. It's also a little bit like rusted moss, like it's been sitting somewhere and water got to it, which doesn't happen in the desert. But anyways, I thought it was gorgeous, and it is very, very thick and structured. So all I did was cut the same length as that burlap below it, pushed it in the middle. We're going to pinch them in the middle. I'm going to pinch that wire in the middle, and the best part is it stays. So once I fluffed it out right there, I was having a ball, guys. That bow is so pretty. Like, I should have ended it right there, but of course I have to be extra with my bows. So we're taking the burlapfabric.com ribbon. Again, these are all greens. I went with like muted greens just to try to throw all these greens together. Even if you think it doesn't match, just throw it together, because at the end result you're going to end up loving it anyways. So what I did here is I fussed around with it for a lot, and pinched and moved and twisted and scrunched and squeezed and all kinds of stuff. And all I did in the end was basically do a regular loop bow. So I did 2 loops, and I pinched them in the middle, and I made a tail. Now I have to go get a zip tie because I wasn't prepared. Good girl there, Whitney. So cut off a piece, and I'll be a little bit slower on this one. So here I'll put back down to regular speed. I'm going to make the middle piece before I zip tie the plaid bow, or the plaid ribbon, into the middle of the whole bow. But this right here is brand spanking new from Dollar Tree, guys. Now they're coming out with this new stuff, and I'm telling you, they've got some better stuff coming out. More and more I see better quality. I see nicer, fancier, more high-end looking items. Dollar Tree's recognizing what we're doing with their stuff, guys. They're seeing how we're tagging them in videos. They know what they're doing. So I'm not too upset about the extra 25 cents, because some of that stuff is worth it. Now again, I've kind of got, earlier I got a little bit rope greedy and didn't want to pay an extra quarter for more rope, but at some point I'm like, oh, this ribbon is great. But look how detailed this is. It's a floral type thing meant for like florists and stuff, because there's no wire to it. But it is just so pretty, and it comes in like 4 colors, and I got all 4 colors. And I got 2 of each because I'm a ribbon hoarder. Hello, my name is Whitney. I'm a ribbon hoarder. Hello, Whitney. I know you guys feel my pain and also agree with me. So all I did was literally loop that on top of itself. So we've got a going loop, wrap it around itself in a rectangle so that it's the right size for how you feel it should look in the middle of your bow. Here I'm taking it, cut a long strip of ribbon, guys. Find the middle, find a loop, pinch it in the middle. Now this is one-sided ribbon, so I did have to twist the tails forward. After I pinched it in my hands, you see me twisting the tails forward so that the right side is facing you. That's important. And now I'm going to grab that loop upon itself, loop, 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 of the green goodies. Push that in the middle there. We're going to grab our main event down here at the bottom. I got to make sure that that's still the 2 pieces underneath. You can probably glue them if you want. I have a zip tie here, but in case that piece sneaks out of the zip tie, you could probably put a little bit of glue in that first. And then here you're going to see me struggle just a little bit with a zip tie, but that's because I'm nothing if not impatient, and then later said, you know, that could have been easier if I just flipped it over, especially since I get to watch myself work while I record for you as I'm recording this. So of course I get to be critical and make fun of myself because, hey man, that's life. So here we go, Whitney. You can get the zip tie. You can do it. You can do it, girl. There we go. Zip tie that big old bundle together. And then, of course, completely, you know, fluff it and fuss with it for at least an hour before you put it on the wreath. And then you smush it when you have to push it over. I am habitually messing and fluffing and readjusting and zhuzhing, whatever, you know, whatever adjective you want, or verb. I've been to school, guys, I swear, I promise. Insert here. So I wanted to place it on the wreath. Now, I like it's the big and fullness, so I covered up the decent parts on there that I didn't want seen. So here I grabbed a piece of that same jute twine that we used to wrap around the wreath, and I'm wrapping it around the middle of the bow. The zip tie is not showing. There's so much fluffy goodness in the middle of that there that you can't see it. So I'm just using the twine to tie this onto the back of the wreath. So at some point, if you choose to, you can glue it to the wreath if you want, because it will kind of twist on you if you don't. It wouldn't be secure. I glued it a little bit. It is interchangeable. All you have to do is just untie that there. So now here we go. Fluff, 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 fuss, fuss, fuss. Don't forget to dovetail the ends, because that makes it pretty. So, and again, that's just folding your tail in half and then cutting from the folded side out downwards toward the wire edge. That's a dovetail, and I dovetail everything pretty much. And there she is. I love it. This was just an idea. I said, let me see if I can just get some nautical rope around it. And I like how it's kind of thick, and it just looks cute to me. I like it. It's like a cute little farmhousey donut. By the way, I can also associate anything with food, but I don't think I'm alone on that either. But I like the greens. With the lighting here, this is my studio lights out in my garage where I take my pictures. I think the middle piece might be a little bit wrong colored, but if you were to see it in person, all those greens complement each other very well. And again, that studio lights, I don't think that Dollar Tree ribbon looks good with that picture, but when you see it in person, she's gorgeous. And that chicken wire ribbon just makes me happy. I can feel all the tingly happiness inside when I'm making stuff. All right, on to the next wreath. So this is the wreath number 2. Again, I wanted something quick and easy for you guys. This is only just a few items. So it's a 14-inch grapevine wreath I got at Hobby Lobby. More than likely, I did not pay for it. I think it was $4.99 for it. I probably got it when all the wreaths were 50% off. So basically, maybe $2.50. I think that's what that said there. I kind of sped this up so that I could just jibber all the way through it. These are leftover tulips from my previous video. I did not like the dark colored ones in my previous video, so I literally popped them all off and glued them all onto one bundle. So here's all the dark colored ones from previous, so I'm reusing them. And then you'll see me glue every single stem and every single bud on. Now again, I'm not going to record that because that was tedious and it took a while, but I do not like when flowers fall off. So I glued them all back on. I cut all the stems off of the bundles, and here I'm just placing them going up and down on one side of the wreath. Just place your glue on the stem. You don't have to glue either. Most of the time with a grapevine wreath, you can get enough tension in there that it will hold your stems or your buds. Now, if you're in a windy area, if you're going to put this on a door that gets a lot of wind, you might want to use glue. But if you're going to keep it indoors or somewhere where it's not going to be weathering too much, by all means, don't glue it in. Then you can reuse your wreath base over and over again. I didn't plan on gluing these in, but I wanted it to be permanent because every time I make a wreath, I cannot rip it apart. There's something up with me that I can't do it. So just fluff those together. No, this right here is a 4-pack of ribbon I got from Amazon. I will have it linked in my Amazon store affiliate. I have that link in my description below as well as pinned to the first comment. So if you guys want to get it, I picked this gray and black identical pieces. Now I love this farmhouse look with the stripes. So I literally, again, am making a more simpler bow. Just cut some strips and glue them in the middle. So you're making rectangles or just really large loops for the size you choose. See what size you think looks good for the size wreath that you're making. Cut a loop, and then you'll see me once again. Here's the second loop. Now that's a little bit smaller than your first loop or your first circle. Glue it in the middle. I'm holding it down with my and see you can see the bow right there when I pinched it in the middle, and then this last piece that's going to be the tail. So all I'm doing is now dovetailing my ends, and of course we're going to adjust that later because I think one of them ends up being a little bit too long. But lay that flat, And then we're going to put our longer loop on top of the tail and a smaller loop on top of that. And then you guys see the bow right there. She's already taken shape. And then I'm going to zip tie the middle of it. That is it for this bow. Now I'm going to put some twine in there because, again, I'm extra. So of course, fuss, 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 fluff, fluff, fluff. Play with the bow. And trust me, I cut a lot out, guys, because I messed with this bow way too long. So I use the zip tie. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a twine bow that you would like a little loopy bow, but I'm going to cover the zip tie in the middle of this because the bow I'm going to make to place in the middle of this isn't going to cover the top and the bottom. So there is a chance that the zip tie might show, and we can't have that. So I literally just covered it with the same jute that I used in the previous DIY for that previous wreath. This is, again, a jute twine that you can get at any hardware store or craft area or Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but I got mine at the hardware store. So I just covered the middle. And she's pretty enough like that, guys. You can just add that to your wreath, tie it on with a piece of twine if you want to take it back off, which is what I was going to do, and then I ended up gluing it. But you'll see here, my phone seems to be long enough for what I want. I twisted that around my cell phone 10 times. It says my hand was too small, because usually you would wrap this around your fingers, and all you're doing is making a lot of loopies. Just make a really pretty loopy bow. Just pinch it in the middle, take a piece of twine. Now I wrapped the twine around it 2 times in the middle, then tied it in a knot, made a square knot so that it won't come out. Kind of pressed it out, and then check that out. There it is. So again, I used my cell phone because it was a lot wider. Usually you would wrap that around, your fingers or the palm of your hand about 10 times, but that would be a smaller bow. I needed a bigger bow. My cell phone was the right width. So it's a good thing I had it on the craft table so that I could, scratch it and possibly break it, right? So smart. Anyways, moving on. It worked very well for this wreath. So here I put some more twine in, and I'm tying the bow to the back because if you want to, you can interchange your bows. We might come across some ribbon that we like better someday. We might not. I end up gluing some things in here, so that bow's not going to be coming off because I ended up hot gluing some things to it. And see, look how cute it is just with that on there. You don't have to make that second bow if you don't want to. And then I had one extra stem off to the side. Put that perfectly placed right above the bow there. What I am going to do is, again, mess with it, fluff with it, fuss with it, make her look pretty. I'm going to cut this tail on this side a little bit shorter because it was a little bit too long in my opinion. And then now I'll actually glue in the last bundle that I had. And there was a little bit of an empty space below the bow that I wasn't happy with. So I said, let me just add my twine bow into the middle of it, see how I can adjust it a little bit more, see if I can hide it. And I couldn't hide it, so I wasn't happy as far as the empty space in the bottom. So I went and got my last bundle of the same flowers there, and I just pulled off the flower buds, the tulip buds, and the leaves. So now I'm gluing this to the bottom of the bow, not the actual wreath, or not putting anything into the wreath like another stem, but I'm gluing it below the bow to take up some of that negative space there. And I love how she turned out. I used only one set or one type of bundle of flower, and that's amazing for me. I normally stick greenery or something else in there that makes it a little bit different. So this is actually a short wreath project for me. You guys are used to seeing me do stuff that takes a lot longer, but I had a lot of those dark colored tulips left over, and I felt that this was very, very springy, could go into summer too. And she's so pretty. And I love that you can still see a lot of the grapevine. Remember, pick a part of the grapevine that you don't mind covering and leave some of those thicker branches that twist around it. The more it gives more interest to it. Leave that part exposed so you can see that, whether it's against a wall or on your door. That's the pretty part too. I think she turned out great. You guys let me know what you think. Now remember, tulips come in all colors, so especially these are leftover Michael's tulips from years ago, but Michael sells them every year. But I love this, and I love the gray with the browns. All right, now my last one. This is another spring DIY that turned into a little bit of Easter. So I have this dough bowl that I got at Michael's. It says Ashland, so I know that's Michael's. It says $16. I guarantee you I did not pay $16, but it wasn't exactly, Dollar Tree price there. Now this right here, filler I put in it also about probably 4 years ago, is this insulator. It fills gaps and cracks. It's called Great Stuff. You get it at Walmart. You spray that in there. I literally sprayed just one bead down the middle, and look how big it got. So obviously we're going to cut the top off because, again, this stuff, you can cut it, you can paint it once it's set. Now guaranteed it's set because I did that probably 3 or 4 years ago. I did it many years ago, guys. It's sad. And it's been sitting in my other craft room. So this was a stash buster for me. Now I'm going to add some bright green Spanish moss. I got this at Hobby Lobby. My Dollar Tree only has gray or this dark brown. And I wanted a much brighter color. So I'm using floral pins right there. And I'm just pinning in the bigger chunks of the floral moss. And that's just to help it. When we add the flowers here, by the way, they're from Joann's. Again, many moons ago. When we add the flowers and we're going to be putting glue on them, the glue will go through the moss. It'll help secure it to the top of the styrofoam, so you don't necessarily have to use those floral pins. I just like to. You can do it as well, or you cannot. Depends on what you're going to put in there. If you're going to stick enough stems in there with glue on them, then that Spanish moss won't go anywhere. But it's very messy and it sheds no matter what. So it depends on, like, I have a love-hate relationship with Spanish moss. I love the way it looks. I hate how much it sheds. Absolutely hate how much it sheds. But it's very cute. So I usually get it to where I need it to be in my house, and then I don't touch it. And I don't let my husband touch it. And I make sure that there's no gusts of wind near it, because if I find that stuff on my table or the floor, my eye starts to twitch. But I love the way she looks. It's you know, your winner, you what do you say? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I love it, so I have to deal with it. So I have to accept the consequences, right? So anyways, I had all of these flowers. I bought them and never used them for anything. I don't even know what. I think I got them because they were on clearance. But they are the perfect combination of spring colors. And once again, I'm trying to use nothing but the same type of flower. I'm not mixing a bunch together. So if you have a problem, maybe you're not strong in the digging flowers out that feel, putting together arrangements. If that's not your strong suit, just buy all the same flower and buy them all in the same color. These are all the colors that these come in. And for some reason, I only had one blue one, but I had 3 green ones. So I put my green ones right down the middle, and then I alternated each side. You'll see a purple on one, a purple on the other corner. And then you'll see the yellow is diagonal as well as that coral color. And then I just stuck the blue one right up front, or what I consider is the front of the arrangement. And I think it worked out really well. It was perfect sizing, perfect fit, and the movement on these flowers. I like the way they kind of shake when you move, when you touch the arrangement. And I'm weird like that. I like flowers with movement. And then I also got these little berries. Again, same thing from Joann's around the same time. I got 2 of each. So one is purple and yellow, and the other is pink and green. Perfect for spring, perfect for Easter. And actually, this is very versatile. You could do Easter and spring, and you'll see at the very end. I was walking out the door to go take pictures in my garage, and I saw my Dollar Tree Easter stash off to the side. I was like, I can totally stick some carrots in it. But you'll see me do that in a minute. So what I had to do here was, the first time I cut these little berries, I didn't give myself enough of a stem to push them into the styrofoam. So I got my pick machine out. I did not use my pick machine except for that one time you just saw right now, where I just made one of them into a very sharp object. Very dangerous. The rest of the time I was able to find a good seam inside the pick so that it gave me enough room to actually stab it down in there. So I added the 4 that I had. I cut each one in half. See, I literally cut them in the middle. And then once I stuck them in the styrofoam, I took the berries and I just bent them outwards so that they kind of went around the flowers I put them on. And then I just kind of tried to evenly alternate the colors on one side and do the same thing on the other side of the arrangement. So all you have are basically berry picks and the same type of very fluffy flower. I have no clue what type of flower this is. I don't know if that's a hydrangea or not, because hydrangeas are my favorite, but I don't know. That could be a different kind. But it's a perfect little spring arrangement, and she makes me so happy. She really does. It's bright and happy, and that's what it looks like without anything else done to it. And look at the movement. Isn't it pretty, you guys? It's light and beautiful. I didn't do anything. That dough bowl is very natural and cute and very rustic. It literally looks like I went into the garden, went into the backyard, picked the wildflowers. Here's what I was talking about. As I'm walking out, these are my Dollar Tree carrots I got last year. Last year. I got these last year. I don't know if they had them this year. But at any event, I'm not gluing these in. I am just stabbing them down into them on one side, because this is going to be, here's your Easter set. You pop those carrots in, put that in the middle of your table. You got a really fast centerpiece. and you're good to go for Easter brunch or Easter, you know, the Easter event. If you have people over, you can take that, put that outside on a table while everybody's doing their barbecues, or if you're having a nice lunch. Also, I don't like the placement of that front carrot. Let's move that carrot, Whitney. Good girl. Yeah, I like that now. So I like putting them on one side. I like it being asymmetrical. So that's how you can leave it. And then when Easter's over, pop those carrots out, and you're good for the rest of spring. And that's why I did not glue those carrots in. But both ways I think are very cute, very versatile. If you have any kind of little pick for Easter, it doesn't have to be carrots. You could put bunnies, eggs, chicks, there's moss covered bunnies. Anything else would look great in there. You can put anything for Easter in this because we've got so many different colors going on. I think it's really, really cute. I love it. I love it. And then take those little carrot picks out, and you're ready to go for the rest of spring. It's so pretty. Very pretty. Makes me happy. What do you guys think? I know these were a little bit fast. They were a little bit a little thrown together, but it was so much fun to make them, and you guys are making me happy. I want to say thank you to everyone so much for all your support, your kind comments. Thank you for sticking with me, and if you've made it this far, I love you, man. Again, thank you. All I can keep saying is thank you. You guys are doing a great job. I have a coffee page. If you guys wouldn't mind, go follow me over on Coffee. Donations are appreciated, never required, but they would help me continue to buy supplies and support me being able to make videos for you. And with that being said, thank you guys so much. Take care of yourself and each other. You guys do a great job of that always in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Happy crafting. Many hugs. Love you guys. Bye-bye.